We are live, we are live, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Let me just re-angle the camera just a little bit to give a little bit of effect. Why am I twitching all of a sudden? My fast twitch fibers are going crazy. Anyways, back to the full cam here on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Just replenishing my fluids simply because I went on a 7-mile run just now. My body needed it, and so I completed it. So there you go. So we're gonna have a good and short time, but a good time here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Wednesday night. Usually this is a night for F&F, especially for the after hours. So I want to get on to that to see that, but also I wanted to get some sustenance in after that 7-mile run. But thank you very much for joining me on Talk live on IG and YouTube, provided by Dontalk, DONTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. You're just gonna angle that down a little bit further so I can get my linen shirt in, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed your day. It was a nice fall day here in the city of Toronto. Beautiful weather. I hope you got out there for a nice brisk walk because it was worth the trip. Ladies and gentlemen, you could see it was lovely landscapes out there. And yeah, definitely got out there and had some time to do that. But indeed, we are back and we are live here, ladies and gentlemen, on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get into this straight quick. The truth and consequences of pretty male privilege. You know, we all know that for ladies, pretty privilege. Hold on just a second. Just wanted to check this out here. Okay, we're good. We all know that pretty privilege for a lady is, well, readily available. And women are always going to be rewarded for their good looks. No matter what area of life, no matter what scheme of life, will always be rewarded. Just 1 second. I have one more little accoutrement to plug in here, and there we go. Good to go. And so yes, so one thing we're going to do right here is we're going to break down pretty privilege for men because again, there is a hierarchy. There, as I've always said, the Chaz Tyrones and high value men will always get the pick of the litter, and it's up to the rest of us, the normies, the rank and file, the rest of society to get in line, either to improve ourselves to a higher number or to be considered a nobody in society, literally being a nobody to women, which is can lead to detrimental activities. Looking at the New York Mets and the Milwaukee Brewers in the background. Oh, some good playoff series going on right now, especially the AL wild card series. Sorry about that. I'm just using that as a bit of a sweat, a bit of a rag for my brow because I am overcondensating or sweating, for lack of a better word, right now. So I need to just wipe my brow here. But anyways, back to it on Talk Live. We're just going to get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So we're going to borrow this. Now, I saw this. I'd like to give credit first to Poor Man's Podcast. He did a wonderful, wonderful take on this. And he did a whole hour on this video. And I wanted to give my own take on things on this video. So again, sorry about that. I just need this rag. I'm not one to sweat on air. So I wanted to do my own take on the video itself, which is right here. I'm going to go to the browser right now so you can see. And also go to it myself. Let me see here. Get that out of there. And that out of there. And there we go. Okay, great. So we're going to go to this video right here. It's called Guy Pretty Privilege by Homath. H-O-E, lower score, M-A-T-H. Homath. He's doing big bang business on the YouTube streets. I think you may have seen his stuff on TikTok or on Instagram. And he basically does the diagrams of basically Homath. and basically of dating scenarios and what it takes to be in certain scenarios, and it basically charts and graphs everything, and it does it in sort of a very entertaining way. So I thought I'd bring that to your attention right here, right now. Shout out to Poor Man's Podcast, doing wonderful things, YouTube streets. He just hit a million subscribers himself, so congrats to him. But I do give credit to him on this, but I wanted to give my own take on Guy Pretty Privilege, which falls on from yesterday being do more plays mean more dates? And in that question, I said yes, indeed. More plays do mean more dates. Although body shape does play a part in things, but for the most part, if you have certain feats of strength that attract women, that will indeed mean more dates for you, more dating success, more relationship success, and more sexual activity. So, we're going to get into this right here, Guy Pretty Privilege, and brought up by Homath. Subscribe to him. I just subscribed to him quite simply. I'll subscribe to him right now, just in front of you, because he's doing wonderful things in the YouTube streets. I'll let him explain things for here on in, and yeah, let me just widen the screen here so we can get into it. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get into it. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. All right. Let me see if this is on here.
100%.
Types of men.
Okay, let's run it back. Here we
Stuff you
go.
can get away with if you're attractive is literally so insane, and everyone talks about women pretty privilege, but no one ever talks about guy pretty privilege.
I always appreciate it when women understand the different ways that they treat different types of men. Guy pretty privilege is another word for hypergamy. So first of all, I'd like to thank her for noticing. And second of all, I have a few stories for you to try to encourage you to
Shout out Ladder
maybe
BK for
move up
joining us
a
tonight.
few notches if possible. But first, listen to how she understands. It's therapeutic.
I think if the unattractive guys tried to do the things that attractive guys did to girls, they would be called out for harassment.
Yeah, exactly. This girl from an old video said, don't catcall me unless you're attractive. And then she said it was a joke, which means it's kind of true.
But if an attractive guy did what unattractive guys did, it would be considered cute.
This is where my stories come in. I did some not very cute things that went over just fine.
I feel like attractive guys...
Stop there for a second. Yes, indeed. Once you're a gentleman of a certain look, of a certain stature, of a certain class, of a certain amount of cachet and style content, you're allowed to get away with a lot of stuff, a whole lot of stuff, and it ain't even funny. Things that would be considered harassment to most men under a 5 or 6 ranking is considered cute to these ladies. You can get away with, well, your mind. I'll let you cast your mind over that, and your imagination over that to what most guys of privilege can do, because these ladies will allow them to do it. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much par for the course. Let's say this. Let's say this. You hear the likes of R. Kelly, you hear the likes of Diddy that are in the news right now. They got away with a lot of pretty privilege simply because, not because of their good looks, but because of their stature in life, because they actually were huge successes, and so they were allowed to, get away with, well, let's call a spade, with sexual assault, with carrying people over state lines for the sake of prostitution, for other sexual deviant things as well. So cast your mind over that. And that is the reason why privilege is so important and so powerful. A lot of men of power, men of stature, a lot of men of privilege, a lot of men of good looks can get away with these things, and women just accept them. However, if you're an average guy, chances are she won't accept them. You'll have to pay through the nose in order for you to get the chance to do that. And it is a lot of trial and error in order to get there, my friend. But that is for the end of the show, where I'll offer you some tips if you are one of these average to below average guys. Let's continue.
Have kind of like act like an asshole card that they could use whenever they want because they have a pretty face, and they have unlimited ways on how to hit on women without being a creep.
Yeah, you can say quite a wide range of things and it will be okay, but only as long as she feels like this about you. This is a drawing of me when I was at my most attractive, and a relationship that I had during that time where I did nothing and she did more than she should have. This is a timeline of that relationship. I had a crush on this girl when I was 11, and she pretty much ignored me until after college, when I lost weight and got in shape. and she sent me a suggestive message on Facebook where she saw.
Stop it right there, ladies and gentlemen. As I've said to many of my friends, and I said to you here on Talk Live, the quickest way onto the sexual marketplace ladder, the quickest way to relationship, the quickest way to date a woman is to get in shape. That remains in your hands. If you get into a good amount of shape, women will respond to that quite positively. They will. That goes without saying. When I was at my lowest, I was at 155, 165 pounds. The difference was night and day how women treated me from when I was at 230 and I was carrying a little blubber around. Believe me, I was a cute friend when I was at that time, but when I shot down to about a 155, 165 level in terms of pounds, things changed. Things automatically changed. Women were more receptive. Women were more likable. I could do things that I could never get away with when I was bigger. No chance about it. And that's why I say, in terms of being fit, it is the quickest way to get on the sexual marketplace ladder. It goes without saying. That is within your hands. It may take a longer time, or it may take a harder time to be one of status, or be one of privilege, or also be one of financial means, being above financial means, being the top 15% of men, meaning earning $100,000 or more. That'll take way more time than you taking 2 years, dedicating it to your body and getting in shape. It is the quickest way to start to get into any relationship. Doors open when your weight goes down. As I said to my friend who I ran to at the gym from time to time, if you can see your pee-pee, you can see more punani. There you go. I'm just saying. It's a known fact, and I've told this to many fans and family and friends, and they now swear by it. It's the quickest way to get on the sexual marketplace ladder. Controlling your physique, controlling your weight, and being fit for the most part. It's the quickest way to go. Let's continue.
On my pictures, and we began a certain kind of relationship. And eventually, she let me know that she had been cheating on a different guy with me. And I said, well, that's a bad idea. You should probably either have a boyfriend or have fun, and you should pick one. And so she did. She got rid of him and said, now we can be together. And I said, well, that's not part of the deal. This guy's just going to be me later. And she said, oh, darn, and continued seeing me anyway. And also I had no money and she had money, so she paid for everything while I continued to see other girls on the side.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, once you become fitter, when you have a certain amount of intelligence, a certain amount of kindness, or you have a certain amount of game. This is where the more muscle, learn game, hold frame position comes in handy, because again, women show genuine desire the greater in shape you are. I mean, genuine desire. I mean, women can always go for guys who, of a certain amount of means, but if they're out of shape, that true desire really isn't there. So therefore, a lot of these guys, take what they can get, and a lot of these women take what they can get from these men and leave and move on, unfortunately, because there's no desire for them to be there, because they don't look like protectors. If you look like a protector, if you look like a man with a good physique, believe me, women will start taking you seriously, and the genuine desire is there. And let me say this: the sex is amazing, because these women really want to seek your attention, want to seek your genuine love and affection, and because again, you've honed that desire through your physicality. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is imperative that the first thing you do is, first of all, you don't treat women like, here's the thing. You let women, if you're going to go on with this life, you got to be honest with these women and let them know that, hey, listen, I have I'm dating and I am doing these things. I'm doing my own thing. So if you're down for that, so be it. But if not, hey, so be that too. So be it too. And as long as you deal with under the auspices of honesty, then not a lot of people get hurt. However, you don't want to deal with this too often because again, you get a awful pity your stomach feeling, and quite simply, it's really a toxic way to be. Sorry, and so we need to, this is not to be made. This is not to be done with great frequency because again, women will see through that. They'll see you're a player, and they'll want not to start a relationship with you. So again, but again, this starts from you taking pride in yourself, taking care of yourself, but also and realizing that in doing so, you can have certain privileges allotted to you. We'll continue right here.
That's how much difference this can make. If you can cross this line, you're going to experience quite a big power differential.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Cross that line. That line. Let's go back to that line quite quickly here. So here's the line. Let's go back to that line. The line is. Oh, let's go back a little further here. Yes. So that's the line. Now the average line may be a 5 or a 6. The greater in shape you are, the more above that line that you will be. Average being 5. So therefore, you can go to a 6, if not a. Kevin, you never used 7, but a 6 to adjustable 6 to an 8, up to an 8, if you get yourself in some relative shape, and if you have a certain amount of, if you groomed yourself in a certain way, you take care of yourself in a certain way, and learn game in a certain way, so that you can get more access to females. So therefore, it pays for you to stay in shape. It pays for you to get a certain haircut, to look good, smell good, be witty, have a story, and have and be a great conversationalist, and have a certain intellect that women find attractive. Yes, you can upgrade your levels. Say you can start from a 3 or 4. Yes, you can go up to a 6, 7, or potentially an 8 if you're in shape. And if you have ambition, if you have goals, if you have fun things to do for yourself, if you have a certain job as well, that always helps. A high value job, all these things help increase your standard. But the quickest way to do that is indeed physical fitness. That goes without saying, because it's hard for you to by yourself get up the ladder through financial means. But if you do, hey, all the power to you. But it is to your benefit for women, especially with the fairer sex, for you to be in shape, because being in shape allows for you to at least have a chance at these women. And if you can show feats of strength, even better, especially if you're at the gym. That's one of the better places for you to be involved with women, period. As long as you don't do it too often anyways. You pick your spots, pick your choices. Let's continue. Shoot your shot at certain times that, don't make you seem like a creep, but at least allow for you access to these ladies. Let's continue.
Cross this line, you're going to experience quite a big power differential.
Unattractive guys have to be more slow about it. They have to be more nonchalant and sneaky about hitting on a girl.
Sneaky, okay. We used to call that getting to know someone. When you're familiar with somebody, it becomes easier to create that bond. And maybe you as an individual can work your way out of it, but you can't have everyone works their way out of it. Because if they did, and everybody became more attractive, women would just reevaluate this into another one of these. There would be 80% of the guys who made it would be reevaluated into the didn't make it zone. And those guys have no choice. They have to get familiar with women first. Otherwise, they just get completely left out. And that's why
And so there it is. Home Math is doing his homework here. He's doing his homework. Ladies and gentlemen. And to be fair, he's right. He's so very right. For the average guy who doesn't make it, most guys do not, let's say this, because we don't want to lose faith in this. It is to your benefit to do your utmost to get out of that friend zone. That friend zone being, well, I would say 6 and below, and I mean hard 6 and below, to the 5, 4, 3, 2, and see if you can upgrade yourself to, well, a 7 or an 8. I would say on a good day 8, because these stick drawings are epic. Yes, they are epic. Thank you very much for saying this, Lana. But indeed, they are epic. But a Beautiful Mind movie. Well, yes, indeed, a Beautiful Mind. I mean, let's talk about Stephen Hawking. Now, Stephen Hawking was a brilliant man, right? Again, he had something going for him. His intellect. He was so smart that people were drawn to his intellect, and because of the intellect, he had a following. I mean, listen, Albert Einstein. Yeah, who followed him? Marilyn Monroe. If you don't know who Marilyn Monroe is, she was a lady. She was a one-time movie actress who at one time was one of the more beautiful women in the world. But she had a crush on Albert Einstein because he was a brilliant man. Yes, you can indeed be known because of some qualities, because of some trait that you have that people find extraordinary. Yes. However, in dating in 2024 is totally different, which is act driven, which is looks driven. I mean, looks are everything. Looks and the amount of money you make are everything in this in today's market, and especially with looks. So therefore, if you have a certain cuteness to yourself and you have a certain physique to yourself, you automatically shoot yourself up to a 7 or 8. However, and closer to the Chaz Tyrones and high value men. High value men being 10, so therefore they have the pick of the litter. So that's why I say 8. Well, 8s and 9s of Chaz and Tyrones. Those are those that have great looks that will always get access to women. However, the men who are rich, the high value men will always have the pick of the litter in terms of Chet. Now, again, that's looks dependent once again. So therefore, it is up to you to be as great looking as possible so you can get genuine desire for these women. Because again, women could just be there to use your money and your status in order to access different fields that they want, or different financial strata, social strata, socioeconomic strata that they want, so that if they upon divorce they stay in that area. So again, it's up to you to hone genuine desire in your woman, and that comes through physicality, physical fitness. So therefore, yes, going back to this chart, for any men that are 6, even 5 down, you have to spend a good amount of money to gain any sort of access to women, to try and curry their favor and ask them to stay with you, because it's for a long-term relationship, for sexual experience, and for marriage. Because, but again, that is, well, going by the by, because again, a third of men out there, 18 to 34, are virgins or haven't had sex in a year. Things are becoming really, really cutthroat right now. Women can be throwing a lot of money, and yet they still be considered simps, yet they still will use men for their money in order to, eat, or to pay a bill, or to go to a certain place, or to gain access to a certain place, or to get access to certain streamers if they're successful on the internet. So it's always good to find genuine desire through your fitness. And on this chart, a lot of men are being seen as, well, no one's willing to take a chance on them. No one's willing to want them to touch them. And as they said, as the lady was saying, men will have to jump through hoops to court women nowadays. Now women are now withholding their sexual experiences, withholding their affections, withholding their desires from most men, because they are looking for the Chaz Tyrone's high value men. And the closer you get to a Chad and Tyrone, the better. Because there is no way most of these women are giving you the time of day these days. Because as you can see here, even those sub 5 ladies that are out there, they're still asking. They're still asking for men who are near the top, if not at the top level. So it's yeah. I mean, because of Instagram, because of TikTok, because of Snapchat, but especially Instagram, women from around the world are dating internationally, and therefore leaving a whole segment of men domestically, well, by the wayside. And again, their overall value, if it's not high enough, is just being eliminated and you being deleted. So therefore, it is key that men take care of themselves to the extent that women genuinely can desire you and genuinely want to date you, and you don't have to pay through the nose in order to get their access. Let's continue.
World is looking more and more like this. People don't get to know each other anymore, and if you try, women will call it sneaky. That's the one thing she said that I didn't like.
They also can't be arrogant and rude, where a lot of it.
I want you to repeat that one more time there.
They also can't be arrogant and rude.
And more like this. People don't get to know each other anymore, and if you try, women will call it sneaky. That's the one thing she said that I didn't like.
There you go. I mean, as you say, this is a universal dating world nowadays. You know, women from local towns, from local residences, that used to give men certain time of day will not give them any that sort of time of day nowadays, because they want to save their gaze for men they deem better than them. So therefore, you'll always see, like as he says, a 1 looking up to a 3, 4, 5. You'll always see a 2 looking to a 5, 6, 7. Women will always date hypergamously. That's what hypergamy is. Women dating men based on their financial ability, dating upwards due to financial ability, due to looks, due to status, due to due to social media. All these things play a part in a man being well sought after by women these days. And the better you are in terms of status within a town, then therefore the better chances of you finding women on a regular basis. And there's a whole segment of men, unfortunately, that have been cast out of the dating market simply because they don't have the money, they don't have the status, they don't have the fitness, they don't have the intelligence, they don't have the health, they don't have they don't look good, they don't smell good, they don't act right, they don't have the wittiness, they don't have any of these things that women find attractive. And if you don't, there's a whole segment of men who are out of that marketplace, and therefore they are left to the evils of their mind's eye in order to seek sexual access, to seek any sort of dating ability, or they simply want to overturn society in themselves and want to hurt people. So, and that we don't want. But let's continue with this.
They also can't be arrogant and rude, where a lot of attractive guys get away with being rude.
That's me. I used to be rude. I was so bitter after I found out the difference between how people treat you when you move from here to here that I actually made a game out of what is the rudest thing that I can say to someone who I know already likes me before she doesn't like me anymore. And I never found it. I wrote a few of them down, but I don't feel safe showing you. I played other games too. I once met a girl on the computer. I went to her place 3 times without ever telling her my name. And then on my way out the door the 3rd time, I said, "Are you going to ever ask me my name or what?" And she said, "I didn't want to offend you." Like I was going to say, "Whoa, you're moving a little fast, aren't we?" No, I'm not encouraging any of this behavior. This is degenerate. The only reason I did it is because I was bitter, because I couldn't be liked without being likable. I didn't...
Yes, so a lot of men get into this revenge category where, they literally go on a revenge tour and try to sleep with as many women as possible, try to be as nasty to as many women as possible, in order to get their own back for years of rejection, for years of abuse. I wouldn't say, well, yeah, mental abuse, yeah, okay. Years of abuse and years of rejection, quite simply. They want their own back, and so they would, take their time in order to use their newfound power in order to take advantage of certain women, which is not exactly the nicest thing to do. But that is a dating world right now. You get a lot of men who have been dealt a bad hand and who have been treated negatively by women. All of a sudden, when they get a certain amount of status, when they get a certain amount of clout, when they get a certain amount of fitness, they get a certain amount of and they get a certain amount of game going, they'll use it to their advantage and really clown and crap on women for the most part. And again, that is a problem. Lana B says the fuckery is alive and well. The games, yeah, the games, indeed, the games. Men will play games. Men will be game players if they realize that they have a certain advantage of women, because that advantage usually doesn't last for long. A lot of ladies, if you cannot show that you can make more money, you aren't ambitious, that you have a certain amount of intelligence, that you have a certain amount of kindness, that you have and you have a certain amount of fitness and sociability. Let me just see about that chart there for a second. I have it from yesterday. There we go. Bang. If you don't have a certain amount of socio-economic status, women will leave you. Women, listen, your time is very, very finite when it comes to ladies. And if you don't take advantage of that time and improve yourself and see yourself as ambitious within that time frame, they will move on. That goes without saying. So men of a certain level will take advantage of women for as long as they can until they're asked to move on. So we are at a stage where women need, where if men are given the chance to, let's go back to it. If men are given the chance to take advantage of women, they will for a certain amount of time, as long as they can, because as long as their looks last, as long as their fitness lasts, as long as their agility. Oh, the Royals beat the Orioles. My goodness, wow, they are underachieving, those Baltimore Orioles. But anyways, so that is the state of play right now, where men, if they self-improve, will for a good amount of time start taking advantage of the privileges that they were denied and were only given to Chads and Tyrones and high-value men for a certain amount of time. But this doesn't last unless you are ambitious and improve with time, and you have a certain amount of kindness and a certain amount of intelligence, which adds into everything. But we'll let this continue.
Want to put in the work to get out of this area, and when I finally did, I still felt like this on the inside, and I said, oh, now it's my turn to do this to someone else, and that's not what we need more of. That kind of stuff just goes back into the dating pool and makes everybody more miserable and harder to deal with.
Now, the difference between an attractive guy and an attractive girl is, so different. An attractive girl, sometimes, they don't get guys. They get rejected because people get jealous of them, or they're really intimidated, or they're jealous. And it's just really hard to be an attractive girl. But for an attractive guy, literally it's like living on the red carpet with silver platters of opportunities handed to you constantly.
Well,
Stop for a second right there. That right there, my friends, isn't true. It goes without saying, it is not true. The least attractive of women will always get more chances at dating, more chances at sex, more chances at being in relationships than the highest value of men. That it's been proven in dating apps, and proven in certain surveys and certain studies. Women have it easy when it comes to access to sex and access to relationships. Goes without saying. As long as you have some sort of attribute which is deemed sexy enough, men will pursue you, no matter what your look is. That's one thing that men cannot claim for themselves, because a man has to protect and provide in order for them to be taken seriously by women. Women over time have had way more children than men over time, and there's a reason for that. Is because women will gravitate their sexual experiences towards those who have a certain amount of clout, who are a certain amount of look, and who have a certain amount of money at their disposal. Chaz Tyrone's high value men. So therefore, that is untrue. Yes, Chad's Tyrone's high value men will get the lump share, the lion's share of women, as has been said by a lot of women of I would say 18 to 35 nowadays. It has been said in studies that studies have shown that women would rather date a man, a high value man, as a mistress rather than being the main one of an average guy. It's been said time and time again, and I would say it leans towards the youth, but it is well improving with regards to older women as well. But as always been said, by 2030, half of those women who are 18, I think 45, will be single because they don't choose to take on average guys anymore. They'd rather be alone and channel their sexual energy and channel their gaze towards high-value men, Chaz and Tyrone's, or men who, well, yes, they have a certain amount of niceness, but they have to have a certain amount of certain looks that, can be deemed cute, therefore 6 and above, than those who are 5 and below, and they are usually left by the wayside, and then they are left to the vestiges of life, and it ain't pretty. So again, it's important for men to improve their looks as much as possible, but if not, then we have a shortage of men who are dating at this time, and that is leading to a lot of negative things that are happening things that are happening in the world, including SA, and also in other ways, basically mass murders, unfortunately. But again, let's continue with this.
Job opportunities. This was roughly my attractive era from here to here, and this was my net worth. And then I had nothing, and now I have internet money. But yeah, she's not wrong. This is an easier position in the market than this. It's easier to get what you want. Now, I wish we could get away from this app style of dating and back to the classics, but I don't know how we're going to do that. This might even get worse. At least people are starting to get it, but for now, if you are not working on yourself, you are potentially giving up a lot of power. Just don't misuse it when you get it, or you'll eventually turn into me, but without the internet money.
Thank you very much to Homath, doing wonderful things in this YouTube streets. What a video, guy, pretty privileged. Yes, if you are not on the road to self-improvement, if you are not trying to be the fittest you can be, if you are not trying to be the best looking you can be, the most intellectual you could be, the kindest you could be, you're on the road to nowhere. And women are voting with their feet, and they're not choosing to be with you anymore. They don't want to be around you when they are at their prime. I mean, you'll know you are at the apex of the dating chain when women age 18 to 24 are willing to date you, if not to marry you. And women of a lower generation are willing to take you on. Simple as that. Because you have self-improved to a state that younger women want to be with you. And if younger women want to be with you, well, hell, you've done something right. You've done absolutely something right. I mean, if you get women of your age bracket, yes, that's fine and all well and good. But I think what really proves if a man is high value, or proves if a man is a Chad Tyrone of the world and has self-improved to a great extent, that guy can date a generation below, like myself. I am dating a woman who I am a Gen X, and I'm dating a woman who is a millennial. Or I have dated in the past women who are Gen Z. And for you to have that sort of status with women means that you have self-improved to a level which the younger generation can see you as acceptable to date. And that is one of the greater compliments a guy can have. That not only your acolytes, your peers, your same age group of the opposite sex want to date you, but those of a younger generation want to date you. So if I'm Gen X, again, I can date a millennial or I can date a zennial, like a upper year zennial, and that in and of itself is is the ultimate in self improvement. So if you can date down as a man, you've made it. Uh, but even if you date your age, you've made it still because you have a certain modicum of success. However, a lot of men are considered not a part of this dating market, and simply because they aren't self-improving, and if left to their own devices, then they are in serious trouble. And is society in serious trouble because of it? Yes, yes, indeed. In certain circumstances, they are, especially women of a certain age. But we won't go on to discuss that because that is indeed something that we don't want in society. We do not want that. We want men to self-improve. We want men to do what's necessary in order to be a part of greater society. But again, men have to be given the chance. If men, can't, as was said on the Forgotten Women episode, if men don't see themselves as homeowners or being contributing members of society in which they have a stake in society, they'll be left to the demons of their minds and the inner demons of their minds and be left to do negative things to society, and that in and of itself is indeed a problem. So let's just go back to myself. Let me see if we have any further comments here on YouTube. We're good to go. And yes, back to the full camp. So I wanted to do this. This was a short one tonight. I wanted to be a short one tonight because I have a few things on the go, but it's to show men that the fight is never over because as a man, you have to self-improve. Women can, basically coast through life not knowing it and not knowing much to anything, but as long as they have good looks, they'll do just fine. Men can't do that. You must be able to protect and provide. You must be ambitious. That means that you must be forever self-improving, forever honing your skills, getting better at things so that you look more attractive to the fair sex as you get older. And the greatest testament to that is for you to, the quickest way for you to do that is to have a certain physique that women find attractive. And from that, then you can work on the small things like looking good, smelling good, having a witty repartee, having a story, having a hairstyle that suits your face. All these things that will allow for the fair sex to, take a chance on you. And if the if the fair sex of a younger variety of a generation below you wishes to take you on, then you've done something right. You really have done something right. So again, I wanted to share that, but I thank Comas for that video. I thank Poor Man's Podcast for putting me onto that video because that was really, really cool. And I thought that we should discuss that even further going forward. And again, it's up to us as men, especially in 2024, to self-improve because women, especially with dating apps, are being very, very cutthroat and very, very ruthless in terms of their dating habits. And if you want to date, the better ones among us, but even the average among us, you need to do better. You need to do better, or else women are not going to take you seriously anymore. That's the way it is. There's not going to be a woman waiting at the end of the rainbow for you. They're willing to forego sex. They're willing to forego being in a relationship. They're willing to forego dating you if you're not on the road to self-improvement and if you are not trying to be the best person you can be, the best person possible. And for a fact, that will lead to you being alone. Now, again, we don't want we don't want things to move to a negative slant, but it's that is very much on the cards for a lot of men that are out there because they can't keep up with society. But we're not dealing with that right now. What we're dealing with is, as a lot of people think, a lot of people say, a lot of experts say, including the guys who have just come up on the screen right there, Fresh and Fit, they said that, a lot of people in the red pill have said for a time, for an age, that if you self-improve, you will get better outcomes with women. And it's all about fighting rather than uh, than uh, it's better to be in fight rather than in flight, because in flight you'll never win with women, unfortunately, and you'll only make yourself less attractive to women, and you would have to pay through the nose, and no genuine desire will be coming your way if you're not on the road to self-improvement. So thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live tonight. Very, very short short show that we had today, and we'll be back again next week. I have this one video that I want to bring out as of next week, and it is quite good actually, and it talks about the 6 signs of the 6 issues that men have in terms of them not having sexual relations anymore in the workplace. So this is going to be a third part to male improvement, and that is indeed finding out why men are not dating anymore, are not being in relationships anymore, not having sex anymore. Period. And we'll get to 6 reasons of doing that. I had a video that was introduced to me by, I believe it was MTR or Poor Man's Podcast, but I want to do my own take on that video next week. So thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm just off to work abroad. So again, I will be seeing you guys next week, and I hope that you have a great weekend. And thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. I look forward to speaking to you guys very, very soon. So we'll say goodnight and be back next week for more shows. We'll see about a Friday episode. We'll see. But more than likely, it'll be a next week episode. So thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. And good night from Toronto. And thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live on YouTube.